then it's eventually loaded and then prepped for launch.
And it certainly did look like a beautiful day. You got really lucky with the rollout there. Awesome to see some of that footage. You know, this is not the first time you've done this, as you mentioned. It's been a while. You're coming up on 10 years since Cygnus's demo mission to the ISS, and more than 10 years since Antares' maiden flight on April 21st, 2013. When you look back at all that's been accomplished over these 10 years, what sticks out to you? You have 16 successful flights. You've been upgrading the Antares incrementally over these years. What really sticks out to you as you reflect on these past 10 years?
The one thing that Northrop Grumman's very happy to share is that Antares has carried approximately 130,000 pounds of cargo to the International Space Station, and our Cygnus spacecrafts in total have hauled away about 91,000 pounds of waste. So, like you said, over the years we've expanded the capabilities of Antares and Cygnus to increase our cargo capabilities. We perform late loads. We also offer reboost services and perform various secondary missions as well. So here at Northrop Grumman, we definitely understand the importance that the resupply missions are not only to NASA, but their astronauts and the critical research that we've done aboard the ISS. You know, there's been so much, advances of technology that have come from their research in space, and we're definitely honored to be a part of it and excited for all the missions to come, and this one for today, for sure.
Very good, and we're hearing some of the milestones in the background. The countdown is continuing. Cygnus's transition to launch mode. We're getting ready to send CRS-19 to the International Space Station, named the SS Laurel Clark. I wonder if this Cygnus, this vehicle, this mission, and the name have any personal significance to you, something that you tie very closely to this specific mission.
Hi, Gary. Yes, actually, I was an undergraduate student at Arizona State University when Dr. Laura Clark was picked to be an astronaut. And, being a Navajo woman and studying aerospace engineering, along with countless other STEM, women around the world who are wanting to pursue their engineering degrees, it was Laurel. She was an astronaut. She was a medical doctor, a U.S. Navy captain, a space shuttle mission specialist, and the thing that was very special to me is that she was also a fellow astronaut Group 16 classmate of one of my mentors, who is a retired astronaut, Dr. John Harrington of the Chickasaw Nation, who was the first Native American in space. So she really had a tight bond with her entire class, and just knowing that cousin really stuck out to me. And it's her incredible accomplished career and passion for the research in space that helped me cement my work in the aerospace industry. And it's been 20 years since Columbia's space shuttle tragedy, and where Laurel and 6 others of the astronauts lost their lives. And it's just been amazing to witness Dr. Clark's career achievements that took her career to under the sea and to the stars, basically. And she and the entire Columbia crew of the STS-107 continue to inspire future generations of explorers. And Northrop Grumman is proud to commemorate our NG-19 Cygnus spacecraft, the SS Laurel Clark, for the NG-19 mission, where she has made a substantial contribution to the United States commercial space program and to human space flight. So we're very honored to have it named after her, and just a very special place in my heart for her and the entire crew of the STS-107.
And I think that special place is shared amongst the teams that are supporting this mission. Christina Helona, thank you so much for joining us for the launch show, and we're continuing down towards the T0 here at 8:31. Thank you for coming on, Christina.
Of course, thank you.
And as mentioned, as we were talking with Christina, the milestones for counting this mission down to T0 have been moving along.
Okay, Launch Team LC, we're coming up on our poll to proceed with final countdown. This is step 414. GSO?
GSO is go.
RSO?
RSO's go.
TD?
TD's go.
Prop lead?
Prop lead's go.
Stage 1.
Stage 1 is go.
MES-1.
MES-1 is go.
GCE.
GCE is go.
ACE.
ACE is go.
Mars.
Mars is go.
CMD.
CMD go.
LD.
LD is go.
NG.
Northrop Grumman is proud to honor accomplished NASA astronaut, medical doctor, U.S. Navy captain, and Space Shuttle mission specialist Dr. Laurel Clark. Laurel was a passionate contributor to the space program, improving our understanding of spaceflight effects on the human body. Her crew's successful completion of 80 experiments on the STS-107 mission advanced the bioscience knowledge of plant growth in space. A proud and dedicated wife and mother, Laurel spent most of her free time during the mission conversing with her family. But when she did get time to look out, she described it as glorious. It is therefore an honor to return her legacy to space to once again enjoy the view as the SS Laurel Clark and Northrop Grumman are go for launch.
Copy that. We are go to proceed with final countdown. Check step 414. Godspeed, Patrick James.
And with that, we pass the 10-minute go, no-go poll for CRS-19 to lift off on time this evening.
Hey, all stations,
and engine evacuation started.
Pitch and back as. Check your headsets and mics. You might have a hot mic.
And the engine evacuation started.
Copy that, Ops 2. CMDLC, countdown 1.
So in the final 10 minutes of this countdown, we'll be following along through the milestones to get Antares prepared for launch. Some of the ones coming up to listen out for in particular at T-minus 5, Antares switches to internal power. Cygnus at this time is switched to its launch mode. T-minus 3 minutes 30 seconds as an auto-sequence handoff, the terminal count. Computers, but at this point, will take over for the final steps through launch. And at T-minus 40 seconds, the tanks are pressurized for engine ignition at T0. We're tracking down to 8:31 and 14 seconds p.m. Eastern Time.
LC, MES-1, vacuum verified in the fuel circuits.
Okay, MES-1, I copy that. We'll check 416 complete.
Live shots of the liquid rocket engines that will mix RP-1 kerosene and liquid oxygen.
To go to enable ACS VDMs.
LC Ops 1, ACS VDMs, internal power on.
LC Elect 1, ACS VDMs enabled, voltage nominal, ODM commands are clear.
Copy, Elect 1, we'll check step 417 and 418.
A little bit about what to expect for Antares Ascent. It's a two-stage rocket, so the liquid oxygen or the liquid propellant will burn on the first stage for about approximately 3 minutes 18 seconds until main engine cutoff, and then enter into a coast stage with first stage separation about 3 minutes 24 seconds and fairing separation at 3 minutes 54 seconds. There's an interstage separation and then the stage 2 ignition after 4 minutes. And this stage 2 is a solid rocket motor that burns for 2 minutes and 44 seconds. After another coast period, the spacecraft will separate from the second stage shortly after 9 minutes to insert Cygnus into orbit.
Admin copy.
LC, top lead, we have step 421, VTSO activation verified.
Copy that. Check 421. Ops 2, initialize ground ordnance power supplies.
Ground ordnance power supplies initialized.
LC Elect 1, ground ordnance power supplies are nominal.
Copy that. Elect 1, check 422 and 423.
T-minus 6 minutes and counting. The sun is setting on the east coast there. Antares and Cygnus illuminated by the floodlights on the launch pad. That's pad 0A at the Mid-Atlantic Regional Spaceport.
Initiated. Time 002503.
Copy that. Check 425 complete. And
LC CMD, step 413, Cygnus is launch mode and nominal.
Copy that, CMD. Site control, can I get a call on 424?
You can, LC. I can confirm FA ECS transfer to GN2.
Copy that. Check 424 complete.
5 minutes, 15 seconds. Cygnus, inside the fairing that you see at the top of the rocket there, behind the American flag, is configured for launch.
Ops 2 LC, step 426. You go to initiate engine priming.
Engine priming started.
Copy that. Ops 1, transfer avionics to internal power.
LC Ops 1, all internal power on, all external power off.
LC Elect 1, internal power nominal.
Ops 1, open FTS umbi-loop.
FPS umbi loop open and green.
FTLU and FTS receiver indications are nominal.
Ops 1, you go to send all arm command.
LC Ops 1, all arm command sent.
LC Elect 1, safe and arms and ODMs are all armed.
NASA TD, report range status.
Range is green.
LC MES1, priming verified.
Copy that. MES1, check step 434.
Inside 4 minutes from launch, the team's reporting that the range is green. Antares makes a southeastern track down the eastern seaboard and across the Atlantic. If you're on the East Coast, there are maps that allow for certain visibility of Antares, and in this night sky, you may get a good view, though we are hearing it is a bit hazy on the upper altitudes, so there might be some cloud coverage that prevent sightings, but for those that are close to the Mid-Atlantic Regional Spaceport over on Wallops Island, there may be some sightings through the first leg of ascent. 3 minutes, 15 seconds and counting.
LC Elect 1, FC commanded to flight mode.
Copy that. Check 437.
Elect 1 to LC, auto sequence startup.
Copy, Elect 1. Be advised you're coming in faint.
ODM bus voltages and currents are nominal.
Copy that. Check 438 and 439. And GNC1, verify ready for nav mode.
LC GNC1, ready for nav.
Copy that. Ops 2, switch to nav.
LC Ops 2, switched to nav.
Check 441.
LC GNC1, nav mode verified.
Copy that. We'll check 442. And we're at T-minus 2 minutes and counting. T-minus 1 minute, 30 seconds. T-minus 1 minute. T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Lift off the Antares Engine 19 launch vehicle from all facility.
Antares taking Northrop Grumman's Commercial Resupply Mission 19 into orbit to the International Space Station. Flight controllers reporting a nominal ascent for Antares.
Nominal.
Attitude nominal.
Core pressurization is nominal. Engines remain at 100% thrust. Steady. Stage 1 TBC is nominal.
Attitude nominal.
Vehicle attitude remains nominal. Electrical power is nominal.
Vehicle passing through max Q.
Vehicle now passing through max Q.
Max Q is the maximum dynamic pressure experienced on Antares.
Remains nominal. Core pressurization valves are nominal. Engines remain nominal and steady. LCA, your go.
Godspeed, Antares.
And thank you, LCA. Halfway through the burn, 100 seconds to MECO, passing through 30,000 feet.
Attitude nominal.
Attitude remains nominal. Engine remains nominal, steady at 100%. Passing through 5,000 feet per second. Core pressurization remains nominal. Electrical power is nominal. TBC remains nominal. Engines remain nominal. Electrical power is nominal. Core position is nominal. We're approximately 40 seconds from MECO. Slow throttle down has begun.
Attitude nominal.
TBC preset down slew has started. Attitude remains nominal.
3 minutes into the flight of Antares, we got about 15 seconds until main engine cutoff.
Rapid throttle down, steady at 55% thrust. And we have main engine cutoff. Ellis is taking care of business. We have stage separation.
Switching to animation with confirmed stage separation as we lose Antares into the clouds on this hazy evening.
Enabled.
ACS is enabled.
Stage 2 ignition time expected at mission time 2:46.
Stage 1 ignition expected in approximately stage 2 ignition expected in approximately 10 seconds. Fairing is separated.
Antares currently in a coast phase.
Stage 2 ignition and TVC battery is nominal.
Second stage solid rocket motor has ignited.
Power remains nominal.
The stage will burn for 2 minutes and 44 seconds.
The Caster 30XL will burn for approximately 2.5 minutes. Power remains nominal. Stage 2 TVC is nominal.
Flight controllers reporting good performance on the second stage.
Power remains nominal. TVC remains nominal in stage 2. And power is nominal. We are approximately 100 seconds from stage 2 burnout.
Attitude still nominal.
Attitude remains nominal. TVC is performing nominally. Power remains nominal. Stage 2 TVC remains nominal. Power is nominal. TVC remains nominal. 50 seconds to stage 2 burnout. TVC, electrical power remain nominal. TVC and power remain nominal. We're beginning to see tail off in motor pressure, and we have stage 2 burnout.
Six minutes, 55 seconds into the flight. The second stage solid rocket motor has burned out.
ACS enabled.
ACS enabled.
We're now entering about approximately a 2-minute coast phase.
Antares is in orbit and will coast for roughly 100 seconds prior to payload separation.
Seven minutes, 45 seconds into the flight of Antares. After spacecraft separation, it will take approximately 2 hours, 30 minutes until the solar arrays are unfurled to start collecting power for the Cygnus vehicle. Shortly after spacecraft separation, we'll have a representative from the International Space Station program online to provide some comments on the flight of Antares and some comments on Cygnus's journey to the International Space Station. We'll plan to wrap our coverage shortly after orbital insertion, but please stay tuned for updates online on the solar array unfurl. Spacecraft separation is coming up on 30 seconds.
Power remains nominal. Vehicle continues to coast prior to payload separation. And we have payload separation.
And the flight control teams confirm the visuals you're seeing here on the animation. Cygnus has separated from the Antares second stage, flying free and beginning its journey to the International Space Station.
All right, launch team LC on Countdown Net. We're going to go ahead and proceed with our post-launch checklist. We've confirmed that we've had Cygnus separation. Congratulations to the Cygnus team, and that sound you heard a little earlier was a mic drop.
You're getting a live view of the Wallops Range Control Center. This is the team that was overseeing the launch of Antares from Pad 0A over at the Mid-Atlantic Regional Spaceport. You can actually see in the back row there, International Space Station Program Manager Joel Montalbano, the pink shirt with the red tie, congratulating the teams and overseeing a successful launch of 8,200 pounds of cargo to the International Space Station. Meanwhile, in Dulles, Virginia, the journey has just started for the flight control team over in the Mission Operations Center there. They'll be overseeing Cygnus's journey to the International Space Station over the next few days. Of course, the operations today were executed by the team you see on the screen here, International Space Station Flight Control Room. We've been monitoring every step of the countdown and Antares flight and delivery of Cygnus into orbit. Successful delivery from Wallops. Thanks to the Wallops Range Control Center team there, all shaking hands and congratulating each other. And of course, Northrop Grumman Mission Operations Center. They'll be overseeing Cygnus's flight, as well as us here in the International Space Station Flight Control Room to ensure a safe journey over the next couple of days until Friday morning when Cygnus arrives at the International Space Station and is captured by the station's robotic arm. Now, after a successful operation this evening, we are lucky enough to have Jeff Arendt, who is the manager of the Systems Engineering and Integration Office and the International Space Station Program based here in Houston. Jeff, how do you hear us?
Loud and clear. Gary, how do you hear me?
Hey, loud and clear. Thank you for joining us, Jeff, and providing some remarks. We just saw Antares deliver 8,200 pounds of cargo, including science and supplies, to the into orbit, and it's on its way to the International Space Station. I'm curious, from your perspective, from the International Space Station Program perspective, what are some of the key highlights of science, hardware, something on this vehicle, something on this mission that you're particularly looking forward to arriving at the International Space Station?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think three come to my mind pretty quick. The first would be this is the final iteration of the Sapphire series of spacecraft fire protection experiments, and so that's flying on this flight. That's been a really interesting set of experiments, and we've learned a tremendous amount, to be honest with you. The second, I think, we're flying some neural cells that will be cultured in 3D cell models for gene therapy testing. The experiment is called Neuronics. Gene therapy shows promise, but the 3D models needed to test these therapies do not form in Earth's gravity, so creating these 3D cell cultures in microgravity could provide a critical platform for drug discovery and gene therapy testing, so really, really cool stuff. The last would be we're actually flying a new potable water dispenser. We're actually calling it our Exploration Portable Water Dispenser. It provides hot water and improves sanitation for the crew's use. This will double the number of water dispensers that we have on board and certainly speed up meal preparation because I think, as you know, and most of our listeners know, because rehydration is required for so many of the crew's meals. Having one dispenser, I'm sure, takes a while for meal prep. So I'm sure the crew will be very excited about that.
Yeah, I'm sure if they had any direction into what gets installed first, I'm sure they would choose that one just so they can get a couple of snacks early.
Absolutely.
Jeff, we're coming up on 10 years since Cygnus won with Orbital Sciences in September of 2013. When Cygnus birthed first to the International Space Station for a demonstration mission. Now we're 10 years into it. We're talking about the Commercial Resupply Service's 19 mission. So if you reflect on the past decade, what can you say about the impact of commercial cargo operations for International Space Station and continuing to support the operations?
Yeah, in a word, I'd say essential. Critically essential. I don't think that's almost redundant, but with the retirement of the Space Shuttle, we lost our capability to resupply the ISS. And cargo resupply from U.S. companies is critical to our mission. I can't emphasize that enough. It ensures our national capability to deliver critical hardware, science research, significantly increases the ability of NASA to conduct new investigations. Other U.S. government agencies, private industry, and academic and research institutions can also conduct microgravity research through our partnership with the International Space Station National Laboratory. But again, in a word, it's absolutely essential.
It's essential for the operations and continuing operations. I think for this particular mission, there's also a sentimental value to it. And as you know, Cygnus spacecraft get named after significant contributors to human spaceflight. And this one is named after Laurel Clark, who tragically lost her life aboard Space Shuttle Columbia in 2003. And it can be a reminder of the risks of human spaceflight and the work that has been done over the past 20 years to continuously improve mission safety and assurance. So after today's successful launch and you reflect on the risks of human spaceflight, what can you say about maintaining a level of vigilance and NASA's role in working with private companies to ensure lessons in safety are shared and implemented?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And, my hat's off to Laurel and her entire crew. And we'll never forget those guys. Focusing on the fact that safety is a top priority at NASA and the lessons learned are deeply embedded in our culture. We share our lessons learned with the younger generations as they enter the workforce, and we work collaboratively with our commercial partners to ensure the lessons are passed on and openly shared and implemented to ensure our future success in human spaceflight. The other thing I'd add is, following the Columbia accident, NASA formalized an additional level of diligence by defining institutional technical authorities for safety, engineering, and crew health. These senior engineers and doctors work to ensure all concerns are heard and work to resolution not only for NASA hardware, but in an ever-expanded role to ensure our lessons learned are shared with both our commercial and international partners. What we do is not easy, and you just got to keep your nose down.
Powerful words, Jeff, and I think it's a testament to the success of this launch. It makes it looks easy that we just lift off the pad and go into orbit, but certainly a lot of work was put into it. Jeff Aaron, thank you so much for joining us for today's coverage and providing these remarks. Appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thanks so much, Gary. Appreciate it.
That was Jeff Aaron, Manager of Systems Engineering and Integration Office at the International Space Station Program. With that, we'll begin concluding our coverage for today's launch. Again, Cygnus is in orbit after a successful orbital insertion by the Antares launch vehicle, and it will make its journey to the International Space Station, rendezvousing Friday for a capture and berthing. You can tune into our coverage then. On Friday morning, we'll begin our coverage at 4:30 a.m. Eastern Time. We're expecting the capture by the robotic arm controlled by Woody Hoberg, the prime robotic arm operator, and backed up by Frank Rubio at 5:55 a.m. Eastern Time, 4:55 a.m. Central Time on Friday, August 4th. Now, since this is a berthing operation, we'll break our coverage and begin the installation coverage at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time, 6:30 a.m. Central, where Cygnus will be maneuvered by the station's robotic arm and berthed to the Unity port of the International Space Station. This is the center node that is part of the International Space Station and the common home for Cygnus vehicles that arrive aboard the orbiting complex. Now, again, we're about to wrap up our television coverage, but stay tuned online for updates on the unfurling of the Ultraflex solar arrays on the Cygnus that will provide power for its journey and arrival at the International Space Station on Friday morning. Now, that will wrap up our coverage here in Mission Control Houston. Thank you for joining us.
It's a new era of pioneers, star sailors, thinkers, and adventurers.
3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running.
Let's go.